the bias.
So I got involved in volleyball from my dad. Actually, he played in the Air Force, so I just kind of got involved just by being around it through my family and just stuck with it ever since.
I've been playing basketball for as long as I can remember. I think a lot of it came from my dad and my brothers. We always had a basketball hoop in our front yard, and so they would go out there and play, and naturally I would just go out there and start playing with them. And then as I got older, it became more organized and just got into it that way, just naturally, I suppose.
I got involved in volleyball quite late, when I was around 12 years old at a local club, and from there I fell in love with the sport and have been playing ever since.
I first found rugby when I was 18, a freshman at my undergrad university. I had no idea what rugby was. I was a swimmer all throughout high school, and so when I got to college I knew I wanted to be a part of something. And the women's rugby team had a little thing set up at orientation, and they looked really cool, and I wanted to be cool, and I also wanted to see what my physical talents brought me outside of the pool.
I guess growing up playing football, I started when I was 8, and there wasn't many female teams out there, so I guess I was fighting bias from that age, really, having to play with boys all the time and having to prove myself physically and technically as a player, and trying to prove a point against the boys that I could play with them.
So the bias that I have gone through my whole life is being told that I am considered undersized for my position. I am an outside hitter, and most of the outside hitters in my position are extremely tall. So I've been told multiple times that I'm not tall enough to make it, or I'm not physically capable.
Some of the biases that I had to fight in myself was that I don't want to be considered big. I don't want to be considered muscly. I don't want to be considered masculine, because that's not what I want.
Just before starting volleyball, I did play rugby, and rugby's a way more aggressive sport in some sense than volleyball is. However, a lot of people did tell me at that point, maybe you shouldn't be playing rugby, you're not that aggressive. And I went into volleyball and realized the physicality of it might not be as much as in rugby. However, the aggressiveness and the competitiveness within the sport is probably as much as any other.
I think attitudes towards women in sports is changing because people are starting to realize that females can be athletic and are capable of being as physical and as strong mentally and physically.
I think it's slowly getting there. I think the attitudes towards females, is getting better, and we're seeing more and more females, accept themselves and know that it's okay to be an aggressive, assertive leader or player.
I'm a very competitive person, and being a woman doesn't make that any different. You can be aggressive, competitive, a leader in any environment.
We just have to keep getting exposure so that young kids are able to see, assertive, physical female athletes out there, and that it's okay and you can strive to be that.
Women are powerful. We're not these dainty, fragile beings that can't handle going out and participating in tough physical activity.
When I was surrounded by coaches and teammates that were like, oh my gosh, like, look at you, you're so big, you're so strong, like, look at all the things you can do on the field. That took a really long time for me to digest and be okay with, but it started with my teammates, it started with my coach, seeing the good qualities in what I thought were the bad qualities.
Girls do come in the gym sometimes and think it's they're going to put on muscle really quickly, and it's a thing to fear. I think just trying to change the perspective in terms of performance, we need that to be good at our sport. So I think we are starting to see girls more and more encouraging each other in the gym, and making sure it's okay for people to strive for that towards that goal is really important.
It's just exciting to see that people are starting to accept women in this role of an athlete, and that it's just super empowering.
Standing up in front of a group of males and having a coach, I think they are probably slightly quicker to judge at your first meeting with them, and you have to prove that you're knowledgeable and capable a little bit more than other male coaches maybe.
As players, as female players, we're conditioned to be thankful for less than what our male counterparts would have.
We are all very frustrated at being told repeatedly to just be grateful for what we have.
When we come up saying like, hey, or start questioning why things are the way they are, people are just like, you should be grateful. And it's like, well, why should I be grateful for this when I see what they have and we don't have it?
Yes, what we have now is more than we've ever had before, but it's not enough.
We're sort of used to being uncomfortable and putting yourself out there, and the more you do it, the less fear you get every time. Male coaches still have to prove themselves, I think, but we just have to do that a little bit more.
Probably one of the most problematic things about women in sports is that just the idea that women aren't capable or are too emotional to actually do a sport.
People are realizing that women can reach these new levels, are as physical, and can compete at the highest level in the world.
As long as we continue to work hard, those biases will start to change.